Hey guys, what's up? My name is Cody, and I'm here today to share with you something called the Zeblaze one-shot camera that I found on Amazon while I was shopping for some GoPro and GoPro-like devices to capture my kayaking and other adventures as we get into the spring and summer season here in central Pennsylvania. So, was really interested in the new GoPro that came out, but for around $500, the cost seemed a little prohibitive for me, and I thought maybe for some others. So I wanted to share something that I found which really took some of the great things about GoPro and, in my opinion, made some of them a little bit better. And at a fifth of the price, at under $100, definitely felt like it was a product worthwhile of getting out there. So let's take a look at the Zeblaze one-shot. So aside from this awesome cardboard packaging that it arrived in nice condition, by the way, made it here safe and sound, it also came in this protective hard shell case. Also very nice quality. Zippers look like they'll stick around and make it through several adventures. Inside the packaging here, of course, first things first, we have the Zeblaze one-shot camera. You might be able to see here, the symbol here shows that it's Wi-Fi capable, which is very cool. So if you have a smartphone, you can basically, on Android or Apple, control the camera and also review your album and shots that you've taken right away, which is awesome. For me, that wasn't a feature that I wanted alone. I wanted a remote for my camera so that if I was on the water and didn't want to rely on my phone or my phone to have a power source, a remote would be ideal. So Zeblaze answered that for me too with this awesome wrist strap, which has, as you see here, the remote on it. One little sidebar about this. I was honestly hoping the remote was a little bit more intuitive than it turned out to be. You see it's got two buttons. Just by looking at it, you might assume that one is for capturing still pictures, one is for recording, starting, stopping, what have you. Unfortunately, that's not the way it works. This button really doesn't do much of anything. This button does pretty much everything, the square. So you take pictures with this, but you also have to hold this down for about 3 seconds to toggle to and from video, which you can find step-by-step instructions on that inside the manual, but really it's just holding it down for 3 seconds to toggle between modes there. So not terrible, but again, kind of really not taking advantage of the two buttons that it has. So maybe Zeblaze will update that in a firmware update, which would be great. So hope the manufacturer is listening and maybe here's that one. Aside from the awesome remote that it comes with, of course you've got a home charger, and that comes with the micro USB cable. Everything here looks very high quality, and looking at the cable and the home charger, I immediately was reminiscent of a Samsung phone that I had not too long ago. So everything looks very comparable and very high quality, just like that. One other thing that I noticed that I'll show you when I open the camera up here in a few is the battery that it takes can be replaced with a very common Samsung battery. So I found two of those with a charging dock right on Amazon as well for less than $17, I believe. So that was crazy awesome. So if you need a backup battery or just extras, you've got it with this for not a lot of spare change. Aside from that, we've got several other accessories which made this super awesome, and those include standard mount, which you can put 3M adhesive on, stick this on your boat or wherever really. Handlebar mount, so if you're into BMX or mountain biking or just road biking or what have you, any casual biking you're doing, you'll be able to take this with you, no problem. Tripod mount, so anywhere you want to take that thing on 3 legs, you're ready to go. And if you notice, all of the mounts that I've showed you so far are basically just like GoPro, so any of those third-party or GoPro accessories, you should be just fine. Let's see what else we have. This mount has a buckle clip on it, so I believe I'll be able to use that on my life vest if I wanted it chest height while I'm in the water. That's a pretty cool idea. And 3M adhesive, again to stick that wherever you want to stick it so it stays stuck. And then for those of you that are into rocking the helmet, we have a nice helmet strap. You can mount the camera right on there and you're good to go. Get on your way onto your next adventure. And another standard mount with a arm bar to change the angle. And then we've got a extra arm bar here. So tons of stuff included. All this stuff looks really, really high quality, which is great. Not what I expected for under $100. So very happy camper here when I unbox this thing. If we want to take a look back at the camera, very easy to access the battery and the internal micro SD. So just got a little hinge here. Pop that open, and then you have access to the back. And first thing you'll see here is the battery, excuse me. And again, easily replaceable. I'll try to link you to what I found for 2 for $17 here in the comments. Underneath the battery then, you've got your micro SD card slot. The SD card that you see in there is mine. It did not come with a camera. But actually something noteworthy there. If you're using this camera, do not put an older SD card in, or one that is slower than a class 10, I should say. First thing I did when I got this camera was just that. I threw an old SD card in from an old phone. Was having problems. The camera was freezing, and I thought I had a defective unit, and I was not so impressed with my purchase, and I figured, hey, you get what you pay for, but it turns out, as soon as I put a class 10 in there, perfect. So that does make a big difference, which is funny. That makes a big difference on Samsung phones too, by the way. So aside from that, let's close this thing back up. And one of the things I should point out here is, you might have noticed already, there is no case on this camera. That is because it doesn't need one, unlike the GoPro and other GoPro knockoffs out there. This camera itself and the housing that it's in is completely waterproof. So it's waterproof well beyond the depths that I will probably ever take it, which is 60 meters. That's 180 feet for those of you in the US. So pretty darn deep, much deeper than I'll go kayaking, much deeper than I'll go swimming. Maybe if I get into scuba diving, hey, who knows. But let's turn this thing on. So got 2 buttons up at the top here. The one I'm holding now with my left thumb is your power button, and then your shutter button is at the right. So again, got to compliment Zeblaze on their intuitive design. So with the lens in the center here, you have access to hold it with either hand, which is not as capable on GoPro. It gets very awkward, or some of these other knockoffs that have the lens off center. So it's just like any other point and shoot camera that you might have experienced before. You've got easy access to your shutter, and then your thumbs have easy access to the controls on the back. Which brings me to the back of the camera. So just like the newer GoPro, you have an LCD screen. This is a 1.5 LCD screen on the back, so you can see what you're shooting, make sure you've got the camera at the right angle to capture whatever it is you're into at the moment. Yeah, and it also makes it awesome to review and play back the pictures that you've taken and the videos that you've taken. So I'll go through the buttons with you real quick. We've got on the upper left here, well, my left when it's facing me, is a mode button that lets you switch to play back your videos. Below that, we've got a menu button which lets you change the settings. This can record in 1080p at 30 frames per second, or 720p at 60 frames per second. So you can toggle between that. I think the recording time at hey Ollie, at 1080p is about 2 hours. So pretty good. And then right below the menu button, you've got your OK button, which just selects whatever you've highlighted. And then on the other side, on the right hand side, you will have your up and down buttons, which let you zoom in and out, or, you know, review back and forth what you've recorded or taken pictures of. And one other thing that I must show you on the back here is really, really cool. So I didn't see this on GoPro or any other camera, and this could be a deal maker or breaker for some of you. This has an LED light, and it's not a low, soft glow LED light. This is a legit bright in your face LED light. So I'm gonna blind you for a second. So check this thing out. So you've got a couple different modes. This is high, you've got low, and then you've got SOS. So you can use this as a signal for help, or maybe record a horror movie out in the woods. Whatever you're into, this thing has you covered. So very, very cool with that. Stop blinding you, you're welcome. And then up here, again, is your shutter button. Use that to toggle between taking still pictures and video, or use the remote, whichever works for you. Super happy with this camera around the house already. Haven't gotten a chance to take it out in the water just yet. But my next video, I've got 2 kayaking trips lined up coming up this weekend and the following. So we're going to get into some class 1, 2, and 3 stuff, and I'm going to show you how the camera holds up in those environments. I think it'll do really, really well. Excited to get it out there. The only other attachment that I needed to personally acquire for this setup, besides what came in the kit, was this... show you, I'm actually using it as a tripod to record right now, but is this mount from, it's a RAM mount, but I think it's actually from Kyalaloo. Am I getting it in the picture here? There we go. So basically, it mounts in here, and it's got a suction cup base that'll attach itself to my boat. So I will be 100% good to go when I get on the water this weekend. If you guys have any questions, please hit me up in the comments. Just trying to get started with this action camera, show you guys some kayaking adventures that I have coming up this summer, and hope to be back with more reviews on some other outdoor products that make being outdoors a little more comfortable, a little more efficient, and so you guys can have a great time as well. So thanks again. See you guys later.